Good morning, everyone. This is Abhishek Chinchalkar, wishing everyone a very happy Republic Day. Welcome to today's webinar on CPR Masterclass with Gomathi Shankar. We recently added the CPR indicator in our FYERS Web library. You can gain access to the indicator by clicking on the Indicators tab in FYERS Web or in FYERS app, and then searching for or scrolling through for the CPR indicator from our library. The agenda for today is to discuss how to use the CPR indicator, and what better way than to learn from the man who's the first Indian YouTuber to reveal strategies on the CPR indicator. Before I hand over the stage to Gomathi, allow me to briefly introduce him. Gomathi Shankar is a renowned full-time price action trader skilled in price action technical analysis, and as I said earlier, is the first Indian YouTuber to reveal CPR strategies. He's also the founder and CEO of Scalpers Trading Academy. Gomathi holds a master's in biotechnology from Anna University and is certified in finance management from Loyola Institute of Business Administration, Chennai. A renowned full-time with more than 7 years of experience in the financial markets, Gomathi is a very well-known face in the trading community. He has coded many indicators in TradingView, and notable among them are CPR by KGS and SMA by KGS, which are available for free and used by more than 10,000 traders. His motto towards the stock market is, "Together we grow as a price action trading community." With that, I would now hand over the stage to Gomathi. Gomathi, you can go ahead and start today's session.
Thank you, Abhishek.
A pleasure.
Good morning, everyone. I wish you all a happy Republic Day. So before starting today's session, let me know whether my voice is audible to everybody. Please tell me yes, so that I can come to know whether my voice is clearly audible to everybody or not. So thank you all for your confirmation. So most of the people are able to hear my voice clearly. Thank you all for your replies. Is my screen visible to everybody? CPR Masterclass with Gomathi Shankar. I have shared my screen. Is my screen also visible to everyone? Yes. Okay, thank you all for your confirmation. So those who are not able to see my screen clearly, or those who are hearing my voice cracking now and then, what I will advise is kindly exit the meeting and join once again. So let us start today's session. So before going to today's session, one important point I wanted to tell. So this is a beginner's webinar, especially for FYERS client. So here I'm going to cover only the basics of CPR indicator and how to use CPR indicator effectively in FYERS terminal. So before starting today's session, let me introduce myself a little bit. So you all know very well about me. So I'm the first Indian YouTuber to reveal CPR indicator strategies. So this CPR indicator was first discovered by Frank Ochoa. So he is the pivot boss for every trader who are using CPR indicator. So he is the boss for us, and he is also called as a pivot boss across the trading community who use CPR indicator. So he is the first person to reveal CPR in his book, and I have read that book earlier, and I have done a lot of backtesting, all kind of stuffs, taking trial and error trades, and then I summarized into a lot of strategies, and that is what I have explained it in a simplified manner in my YouTube videos. And I am the founder and CEO of Scalpers Trading Academy, and as Abhishek said, I have completed my MTech. I have completed my finance management. I am having 7 years of experience in trading. And I have coded CPR and moving average indicators, which is used by more than 10,000 traders across the world, whoever using TradingView. And also I have awarded as the best stock market trainer in Chennai by Urban Pro during the year 2019. And as of now, currently, I have trained more than 3,000 traders across the globe. And I have taught only price action trading using CPR indicator. And I am also having past working experience with Carvey stockbroking and Zerodha stockbroking. And also I have worked in Spider software, which is popularly known for trading signal software. Okay, so this is about me. So now today's session, what are the topics we are going to cover is what is pivot point and how it is calculated. And then we will see about CPR indicator and its calculation. And then we will see the types and strategies of CPR indicator. And we will see how to use better settings of CPR indicator in FYERS terminal. After completing the session, I will take the question and answers from you all. So we are starting the session right now. What is pivot points and how it is calculated? So you all know very well pivot point is a technical indicator which is used by most of the traders. When a beginner enters into market, initial indicators which he use will be the first indicators which is most commonly used by beginners are people will use RSI and people will use MACD, people will use stochastics and people will use super trend and also people will use pivot points. So these are the general common indicators used by most of the beginners who enter into stock market. So this pivot points, these all indicators are used for several years. And this pivot points was also used by most of the traders and it was discovered long ago. So let me show this pivot point indicator in the charts. And before we go to pivot point start, this is the formula calculation for pivot point. You can note it down if you need the formula for pivot points. So pivot points will have resistance levels and support levels at the top and bottom. And this central line is called as pivot point. For example, this is the chart for pivot points. Pivot points is nothing but a median line. Okay, a median line. Above the pivot points, we can see a resistance level R1, R2, R3, and R4. And below these pivot points, we can see support 1, support 2, support 3, and support 4. So we all know very well if the market is going above R1, R2, R3, we call it as a bull market. And we all know very well if the market is going down towards S1, S2, S3, and S4, we call it as a bear market. So this pivot point acts as a center line, median line or center line, or it is the deciding factor. This line is the decider for bulls and the bears. Who is having the energy? Who is dominating the market as of now? So this pivot point is a median line. If the candles are trading above this pivot point, then we can easily tell the market is bullish for that particular day. For example, let's say yesterday, 25th January, the candles are trading above these pivot lines. Let's say the candles are trading above these pivot lines. Then what we can tell is on that particular day, on Jan 25th, this particular day is expected to be bullish. For example, if the market is trading below these pivot lines, then we can tell on this particular day, the market is expected to be bearish. If suppose the market is trading in between these pivot levels like this, then we can tell the market is expected to be sideways. So this is a very common and basic indicator used by most of the beginners, new entrants into market, because it is easy to decide the trend. See, remember, most of the traders are losing money because they take trade, but they don't know the trend. Okay. Most of the beginners, this is the common reason. Okay. People are not losing money because of risk management, improper risk management or improper money management, or not because of any other reasons. The first and foremost reason is nobody knows the trend, especially beginners. Beginners, they don't know the trend, but they blindly take call option and put option. They blindly take long position or short position, right? But when we use pivot points, it is easy to say the trend of that particular day. Now, for example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share some charts of any stocks. Let's say, for example, I'm opening TCS. So look at, this is CPR. Let me add normal pivot points, standard pivot points. So this is standard pivot points. So look at TCS yesterday. Yesterday, TCS was trading stocks. Let's say, for example, TCS yesterday was trading below this pivot line. Look at this pivot line. The entire day, TCS was trading below this pivot line. But the price did not drop down below S1. So if the price is in between R1 and S1, then we can easily tell the market is going to be range bound or sideways for that particular day on Jan 25th, right? So it is easy to tell the trend even for a beginner. Even a school going student can easily tell the trend by using the pivot points indicator. Let's say, for example, on 24th January, between S1 and R1, the market is going to be sideways. Now look at TCS on 24th. Exactly after 12 p.m., TCS is dropping down below S1, and then the prices has fallen till S2. So on that particular day, on 24th, till from 9:15 to 12:15, the market was range bound. After 12:15 till 3:30, the market was bearish. So this is how we analyze the trend of any stock in an easy manner, right? So this is how pivot points was useful in early days before the CPR indicator was founded, or those who don't know about CPR indicator, this is how they identify the trend in a simplified manner. Now, as I said, if the candles are trading above pivot point, here you can see, I have taken an example, Bank Nifty. The candles are trading above R1. So between R1 and S1, it is going to be range bound. Above R1, the candles are trading. So Nifty Bank was bullish on this particular day. Like this, it is easy to judge the trend of any instrument. On this particular day, Bank Nifty was bearish because it was trading below S1 levels. So this pivot point, this single line, this one level is sufficient to decide the trend, to decide the direction. So this is the use of pivot point. Now, what is CPR indicator? So he is Frank Ochoa. What he is doing is he was totally attracted towards CPR indicator. He is totally attracted towards pivot points. Actually, Frank Ochoa was using pivot points for his trading in his early days. He was just amazed by the beauty of pivot points indicator, because just now I showed you a lot of examples. It is easy to decide the trend. It is easy to take the trade. So he was doing a lot of research in pivot points. Now, when he is doing this research in pivot points, what he is doing is this central line is the key factor to decide the trend. If the candles are below the central line, then if the candles are below pivot points, we are telling it is bearish. If the candles are above this pivot point, we are telling it is bullish. So he is doing a lot of research in this single line. Because above R1 and R2, we are going to tell it is bullish. Below S1 and S2, we are going to tell bearish. And these R1, R2, and R3 and R4 levels are used for entry, exit, as well as keeping stop loss. Exit as well as for placing your stop loss. For example, I am taking an entry when R2 is broken. My stop loss is below R2 and my target is R3. Simple. So this is how resistance and support levels are useful in a pivot point. So R1 and R2 are just for entry, exit, and stop loss. But this is the main level which is showing us the trend. So he is doing a lot of research in this single line. And finally, what he identified is he used a lot of formula to break down that single line into 3 different lines. Now, if you see in normal pivot point, we have the central line only. We have only a single line. Above this line, we tell it is bullish. And below this line, we tell it is bearish. Now, what he is doing is, he is dividing this single line into 3 different lines. Above there is another line and below there is another line. Now, when he is breaking this single line into 3 different lines, what is happening? We are coming to know the trend in a more precise manner. Okay. So there is a difference between normal pivot point and CPR pivot point. In normal pivot point, only above or below we can decide the trend. But with the help of CPR, we can decide whether today it is going to be trending or not well before one day itself. For example, now again I am coming to pivot points. Now when I am using normal pivot points, after 3:30, okay, on this particular day at 3:30, the market is over. Now tomorrow, whether the market will be bullish or whether the market will be bearish, I don't know. Correct? I don't know whether the market will be bullish or bearish. I know the trend only at 9:15 when the market is opening. If the market opens below pivot point, then I can tell it is bearish. If the market opens above pivot point, then I can tell bullish. So we cannot tell the trend using pivot points one day before itself. So we have to wait till 9:15 every day. Now, when this CPR was discovered by Frank Ochoa, it is easy to decide the trend one day ahead itself, as soon as the market over. So the formula for pivot points and CPR is same. Only the difference is at the bottom there will be one pivot level. Additionally, there will be one pivot level, and at top there will be additional one pivot level. Let me show it in charts for better understanding. So this is how CPR indicator looks like. Okay, or let me show it in FYERS terminal for better understanding. So this is how CPR looks like in your chart. I have just turned off the candles. Okay, I am just hiding the candles so that we can study the CPR initially. Now, if you observe the CPR indicator, this is the normal pivot line which you see in pivot points. Now, let me turn on the pivot points. Can you see the overlapping of levels? You can see the overlapping of levels. Look at this right-hand side. Look at the right-hand side. The resistance of CPR and the resistance of pivot point are same levels. The pivot point, the central pivot point in CPR as well as normal pivot level is same. Similarly, the S1 of CPR and normal pivot point S1, the levels are same. So what is the main difference is at the top of above the pivot, there is another additional level. This level is called as top central pivot. Actually, when it comes to pivot points, we call this as pivot point, right? When we are using pivot points, we call this as pivot point only. But when we use CPR indicator, we call this as central pivot. Central pivot. Now this top line we call as top central pivot. Top central pivot. Or we call it as top central pivot or top pivot, anything. Similarly, the bottom line we call it as bottom central pivot. Now together all the three lines are called as central pivot range. Central pivot range. So this is what we call as CPR. Okay, so what is the main difference between normal pivot point and CPR is Frank Ochoa is doing a lot of research and he is breaking the single line into three different lines, 1, 2, and 3, three different lines. With this help of three lines, we are able to decide the trend in a precise manner. So that is the importance of CPR indicator. Now coming back to the presentation. So this is CPR indicator formula. If you want, you can note it down. So this is how the CPR indicator looks in our charts. So just now I showed you all in FYERS terminal. Now there are few types of CPR. Now when we are using CPR indicator, the concepts are similar to pivot points. In pivot points, what we tell, above pivot it is bullish and below pivot it is bearish. This is what we tell when we use a pivot point. The concept is same for CPR also. These three lines are called as CPR. These three lines are called as CPR. Above the CPR, we call the market is bullish, and below the CPR, we call the market is bearish. So this is a general concept. This is applicable for both pivot point as well as for CPR. Same here also. Below CPR, the market is trading below S1. The market is trading below S2. So we call it as bearish day. Okay. At 9:15 itself, you can tell. At 9:15 itself, the market is below the CPR. You can easily tell, I am expecting the market to be bearish today. That's all. Very simple. If suppose the market is between CPR and S1, this is S1, this is S2, and this is R1. Now, if the market is opening in between CPR, or if the market is open in between CPR and R1, or if the market is opening in between S1 and CPR, you can tell at 9:15 itself, I am expecting the day to be sideways. We can expect a range bound market. Now, many experienced traders, many news channels, they are telling today we are expecting a range bound market because of technical this, that. No, they are telling based on these levels also. If the market is between these levels, then we are expecting a range bound market. Now, if the market is opening below S1, if the market is opening below S2, then you can confidently tell at 9:15 itself. You can tell to your friends, I am expecting a bearish market today. That's all. Okay, so this is how we identify the trend in a simplified manner. Now, there are few types of CPR. Using this type of, apart from normal, why CPR is famous compared to normal pivot points? These are the important reasons. Now, as I said earlier, when we use normal pivot point, I cannot tell tomorrow will be trending or not. I cannot tomorrow whether the market will be trending or not, or I don't know how much the market will be trending today. For example, now I am switching on the candles in TCS. Now TCS is trading around the pivot levels on 24th January. Now, I don't know how much TCS will travel down. TCS has traveled from pivot point till S2. So there is some good fall in TCS on 24th January. When I use normal pivot point, I don't know how much it will fall. Or when I use a normal pivot point, I don't know how much there will be a rally. For example, let me take Bank Nifty. Bank Nifty was bullish yesterday. TCS will travel down. TCS has traveled from pivot point till S2. So there is some good Shashank, can you mute your mic? So this is Bank Nifty. Yesterday, Bank Nifty was bullish. From S1, Bank Nifty traveled till R1 levels. So at 9:15, what I will tell with the help of pivot points, I will tell I am expecting Bank Nifty to be bearish because it is trading around S1 level. Or between S1 and R1, we will tell I am expecting Bank Nifty to be range bound. But how much points there will be rally? Approximate level. We don't know in pivot points. But when we use CPR, we can tell a rough count of how much the market will be moving, whether it will be a trending day or whether it will be less trending or whether it is going to be range bound. So we can tell this to a certain extent when we use CPR indicator. So there are 4 important types of CPR. This is the basic types of CPR. There are many more types of CPR, but these 4 are the basics like ABCD. So first we are going to see about narrow CPR, then wide CPR and ascending and descending CPR. So this is the importance and the characteristics of narrow CPR. So what is a narrow CPR? Narrow CPR is very simple. If all the 3 lines are narrow, and if all the 3 lines are sticking with each other, look at this particular day, look at the 3 CPR lines. You cannot see the 3 different lines because all the 3 lines are merged with each other. All the 3 lines are very, very narrow and all the 3 lines are overlapping each other. So we are unable to see 3 different lines. So this CPR level is called as narrow CPR. So whenever there is a narrow CPR, look at the first point. Whenever there is a narrow CPR, the market will be either trending or it will be volatile. Now there is a difference between trending market and volatile market. What is a trending market? Trending market means the market will be breaking R1, the market will break R2, the market will break R3, the market will break R4. So this is called as trending market. One side market. The market is just bullish. Now, what is a volatile market? Volatile market means the market will go up till R2. Again, it will travel down till S1. Again, the market will travel till S1, R1. So this is called as volatile market. The market travels till R3. Then it travels till S1. Again, the market will travel to R2. So this is called as volatile market. Okay, so whenever there is a narrow CPR, we can expect a trending or a volatile market. So whenever there is a pivot point, can we expect a trending market? No. In a normal pivot point, above pivot point, we will tell the market is bullish. Below pivot point, we will tell the market is bearish. But we don't know whether today it is going to be a trending day or not. But when we use a CPR, and if it is a narrow CPR, then we can easily tell today it is going to be trending or volatile. Before 9:15 itself, you can tell. Clear? Now, for example, today there is a narrow CPR, but the market is not trending. If the market is range bound like this, then it is very easy to tell the next day will be a trending day. Next day will be a trending day. Look at the second point. If the market is not trending or volatile, though there is a narrow CPR, then the next day will be a trending day. Very simple. So this is a very, very important advantage of using a CPR indicator. So remember, in a pivot point, we cannot judge the trend. But when we use a CPR, and if it is a narrow CPR, we can easily judge the trend. So this is the example of narrow CPR. Look at this particular date. Let's say this is day 1. Look at day 1. There is a narrow CPR. Look at the 3 lines. We cannot see the difference between 3 lines because all the 3 lines are overlapping each other. So this is called as narrow CPR. This is what we call as a narrow CPR, but the market is not trending. You can clearly see the prices are trading in between R1 and S1. So the market is not trending. It is just range bound inside resistance 1 and support 1. So what can we tell? The next day will be a trending day. So look at day 2. On day 2, though there is a medium sized CPR. Now day 1 is a narrow CPR. Day 2 is having a medium sized CPR. Still the market is trending. Look at the direction. The market is breaking R1 levels and then the market started to rally towards R2 and then the market is heading towards R3 resistance 3 levels. So whenever there is a narrow CPR, if the market is not trending, then next day will be a trending day. So these are easy to judge the direction of the market at any point of time. So this is another example of narrow CPR. Look at the narrow CPR. Look at the 3 lines. And then the candles are trending above R1, R2, R3, R4. So whenever there is a narrow CPR, it is easy to take a trade and it is easy to decide the direction and it is easy to tell whether it is trending or not. So this is another example of a narrow CPR and the market is trending. So this is one example for bearish market. The market is having a narrow CPR. The candles are traveling below S1. So till S1 and till R1, we can call it as a range bound market or sideways market. But below S1, we can tell the market is bearish. And clearly you can witness the prices has dropped till S4. So that is the power of narrow CPR. So if you are seeing a narrow CPR today at 9:15, then confidently you can tell your friend, I am expecting a trending market today. If the market is not trending today, then tomorrow will be a trending day. It is easy to tell your friends or any of your trading groups or anywhere. Now, there is a second type of CPR called as white CPR. Now, these are the days traders should be very, very careful. Because whenever there is a wide CPR, look at the point, whenever there is a wide CPR, mostly the market will be sideways or range bound. Now, these are the days where retail traders make a lot of mistakes. Because whenever there is a wide CPR, there will be a lot of fake breakout or false breakout, whichever it is. Okay. Now, many traders, they used to say this dialogue. Sir, I went for a long position, but the market is coming down. I went for a short position, but the market is going up. So the reason is they will be taking trade when the market is having a wide CPR or when the market is range bound. Now look at this particular day. This is wide CPR. This is top central pivot. This is bottom central pivot. And this is central pivot. So the 3 lines are clearly visible. 3 lines are clearly visible. And there is a lot of space between these three lines. Between line 1 and line 2, and between line 2 and line 3, there is a space. So the candles are trading inside the CPR. The candles are trading around the CPR, and the market is in a dead sideways manner. Now, these kind of days, what beginners they used to do, after seeing a huge bear candle, they will be taking a short position. And after that, what happens? The market reverses and they will tell, sir, I went for a short, the market is going up. Now, again, I went for a long position here, but the market started to go down. So these kind of traps and these kind of fake breakouts, false breakouts happens whenever there is a wide CPR. So if you are, let's say you are opening any stock, whether it is TCS or whether it is SBI, any stock you are opening the chart, if you are seeing a wide CPR, never ever take trade in that wide CPR stock. Clear? So by doing this, by avoiding taking trades in a wide CPR, you can save your capital by avoiding unnecessary trades. Now look at this day. The market was dead. It's like a dead rubber from R1. This is S1. Look at the market. It is in a dead sideways range. There is no proper direction. Whenever the market is bullish, the market should be traveling like this. Whenever the market is bearish, the market should be traveling like this. But look at this day. The market is coming down. Look at the day. The market is coming down. Again, it is going up. Again, coming down. Again, going up. Down, up, down, up. So this is how the market traps the retail trader on a wide CPR day. But when you are using normal pivot point, you cannot tell this. When you are using a normal pivot point, what you will tell? If it is below S1, it is bearish. Above R1, it is bearish. It is bullish. Between pivot point, it is going to be a range bound market. But at 9:15, you don't know whether the market is going to be range bound or not. You are using a normal pivot point, standard pivot point. At 9:15, you cannot tell it is going to be a range bound day or not. But whenever there is a wide CPR, at 9:15 itself, you can tell till 3:30, I am expecting a sideways market. That's all. Simple. Till 3:30, I am expecting a sideways market because of wide CPR. But when you are using a normal standard pivot, you cannot tell that confidently. So these are the advantages of using CPR indicator. So this is another example of a wide CPR and a dead sideways market. The market was range bound till afternoon. After that, the market is trading inside the CPR. Remember, there are two important conditions you should not forget while using CPR indicator. The first condition is no trade in wide CPR day. If you are seeing a wide CPR, no trade. Second, if the candles are inside the CPR, if candles are trading inside CPR, then strictly it is no trade. So both the conditions are equally important. Now look at this area. The candles are inside the CPR, then strictly no trade at all. Now, few beginners know what they will tell. Sir, the market is range bound till afternoon. And afternoon, the market is breaking the day high. The market is giving a range breakout. Shall I take a long position or not? Beginners will ask. Now, here the market has rallied in a better way. So you would have made profits. But 80 to 90% of the time, when the candles are stuck inside the CPR, look at the top CPR and look at the bottom CPR. Whenever the candles are stuck inside the CPR, it will be dead sideways. So if you are taking long position, you will not able to make money. You have to sit for a very long time. And if you are trading in futures, or when you are trading in options, particularly, what happens? You will lose the premium. So now we are going to see the third type, ascending CPR. Now, what is ascending CPR? Ascending CPR is very simple and easy to understand. Ascending CPR means deciding how many days the market will be trending. Now look at this particular chart. This is day 1, and this is day 2, and this is day 3. Now, what you have to do in ascending CPR is just observe the CPR. Just observe the CPR. Every day, the CPR levels are going higher and higher and higher. So it means the market is going to be bullish. Very simple and easy to judge the trend. Every day, if the CPR levels are going higher and higher and higher, then the market is going to be bullish. Clear? But we cannot tell this if we are using a normal pivot point. You can tell the market is bullish or bearish only if you are using CPR. By using normal pivot point, you cannot tell bullish or bearish. Now look at this particular chart. This is descending CPR. Day 1, day 2, and day 3. Every day the CPR is coming down and down and down. So easily we can tell it is going to be bearish. So when you observe a descending CPR or when you observe ascending CPR, it is easy to trust the bulls and the bears, and we can take the trade accordingly. For example, whenever the CPR is going higher and higher and higher. Now, this is day 1 and this is day 2. Above day 1 CPR, day 2 CPR is located. So on day 2 at 9:15, you can stay confident that today it is going to be a bullish day. Okay, before 9:15 itself, you can prepare for the market. You can stay confident today the market is going to be bullish. Now, as soon as the market opens, observe this particular candle. It is breaking R1, resistance 1. And observe these candles, they are breaking resistance 2. So, now there is a confirmation. The candles are trading above the CPR. The candles are trading above the CPR. The candles are breaking R1 and R2. So, confidently you can take long position. But you cannot decide the trend before 9:15 in a normal pivot point. If you are using normal pivot point, you will not get such a confidence before 9:15. Okay. And same here also. This is day 2 and this is day 3. Now comparing day 2 CPR, day 3 CPR is situated at the bottom. Below day 2 CPR, day 3 CPR is located. So what you can do? At 9:15 itself, you can confidently trust the bears. And when S1 is getting broken, when S2 is getting broken, you can confidently look for a short position. So these kind of confidence are necessary for trading, and it is made possible only if you are using a CPR indicator. So now we have seen 4 important types of CPR indicator. Let us recall. In a normal pivot point, you can judge the trend only if the market is above pivot or below pivot. Above the pivot, you can tell it is bullish. Below the pivot, you can tell it is bearish. But you cannot tell whether today it is going to be a trending day or not. Before 9:15, okay, before the market opens, you cannot tell it is going to be trending or not, whether the market is going to be sideways or not. You cannot tell the direction properly. But when you use a CPR indicator, you get the confidence to decide the trend as well as the direction. Here the pivot levels, the CPR is coming down. This is day 1 CPR. Day 2 CPR is below day 1 CPR. So we can tell today it is going to be a bearish day, and we are having a narrow CPR also. This is called as narrow CPR because all the 3 lines are overlapping each other. So we can expect a trending market. Clear? And whenever there is a wide CPR, narrow CPR, it is going to be a trending day. Just observe these points. In a narrow CPR, the market is expected to be trending or it is expected to be volatile. But whenever there is a narrow CPR, if that particular day is not trending, the next day you can expect a trending market. Okay, so whenever there is a narrow CPR, don't miss that particular day to take position. If the market is not trending on a narrow CPR, then next day you get ready for taking position. And whenever there is a wide CPR, the market will be strictly range bound. On these kind of days, you should avoid taking position. Okay, no trade. Avoid taking position on these kind of days. Only then you can escape from traps. Only then you can escape from false breakouts or fake breakouts. Now, there is another 2 types which we saw just now, ascending and descending CPR. So if each and every day the CPR levels are going up, then we can tell the market is bullish. And if each and every day, if the CPR is going down and down and down, then we can tell the market is bearish. Now we are going to see the CPR settings, how to use CPR indicator in FYERS trading terminal. So when you are applying a CPR indicator in FYERS trading terminal, your chart will be like this. Now, this is a empty bank Nifty chart, or let me take Nifty chart. So I have opened a Nifty 5 minutes index chart. Now, how to apply CPR indicator in FYERS? Just go to this indicators option and search for CPR. Just CPR. And you can see CPR with pivot levels. Click that indicator. Now, when you click that indicator, your indicator will be looking like this. This is how your chart looks like. Now, you can change few settings and you can make it look beautiful. How to keep CPR indicator settings? Now, what you can do is go to this particular indicator settings. Okay, just keep your cursor over there and you can see a settings option. Click that. And as soon as you click that, you can see a lot of levels. Pivot, bottom pivot, top pivot, support 1 or resistance 1. You can see all the levels. Now you can keep a common level for all the 3 CPR levels. So here it is default dark navy blue. So let it be. We no need to change the color. But what we can do is we can change the line. Now I can see in this CPR indicator, the lines are coming like this from the previous day. From the previous day, the lines are coming down like this. So what's happening? My chart is looking bad. My chart is looking bad and my chart is looking clumsy. So what I am going to do is I am going to remove these lines. How to remove these lines? Go to your settings, and here you can see a lot of options. You can see a lot of boxes over here. Click every box and change it to circles. Click all the boxes and change it to circles. Now, as soon as you change it to circles, you can see every levels are turning into circles instead of lines. Instead of lines, all the levels are getting turned into circles. So what is the advantage is the line never comes from the previous day, and it is looking better to view. Okay. Now, after changing these settings, once again, go to the indicator settings. At the bottom, you can see a drop down. Click that and you have to apply save as default. If you are not clicking on save as default, next time when you reload the tab, again, the same indicator will come and you need to change the settings once again. So click save as default and click on OK. Now look at the chart. Now it looks better comparing to the previous settings. Now, in FYERS CPR indicator, you can also see previous day high and low levels. Now, what is the use of this previous day high and low? There is additional level called previous day high and low. Now, what is the use of this previous day high and low is always previous day high and low acts as a important resistance or support level. Okay. The S1 level in CPR, S1 in CPR and the R1 in CPR, both these levels are always having a strong connection with previous day low and previous day high. Okay. We can even consider S1 in CPR and previous day low as a twins. Okay. Both are in connection with each other. So we should consider both the levels together. We should consider both the levels as a zone. We should consider both the levels as a zone. Why? What is the reason? Now you all know very well, S1 is called as support 1. S1 is having the capability to reverse the trend. Yesterday, look at the Nifty chart at S1 level. The market reversed exactly from S1 and the market started to travel towards the CPR level and the market closed here. So S1 is having the capability to reverse the trend. Now, similarly, previous day low also having the same character. Okay. I like biryani, you also like biryani. I like cake, you also like cake. I like ice cream, you also like ice cream. Same way, S1 job is to reverse the trend or to give support. Similarly, the characteristic of previous day low is to reverse the trend or to give support. So that is why we are considering both S1 previous day low and R1 previous day high as a twins. Okay. Now this previous day low and previous day high, you can see only in trading view. Now, actually the CPR indicator is available only in trading view, but after a lot of request to FYERS, now they have introduced the CPR indicator especially for us. Okay. The CPR indicator is especially made for CPR indicator traders, and we have also requested for previous day high and low, and that level was also introduced by FYERS only for the betterment of traders. Okay. We should trade well, and the platform should help us in such a way, and hence we are having these levels in FYERS itself. Okay, so that is the importance of previous day low and high. Now, if you look at yesterday's Nifty chart, on 24th January, Nifty had a fall of more than 2%, I guess. From the morning till 3:30, Nifty has fallen more than 3%. Correct? So there is a 3% fall in Nifty. Now look at the importance of S1 and previous day low. On this particular day, 24th January, the candles broke S1 and previous day low. You can even look at the right hand side. S1 was broken and previous day low was broken. Previous day low in the sense 23rd January low. Okay. 23rd January day low is called as previous day low. Now 23rd January low is here. You can see. So exactly at that point, the previous day low line is marked. Now look at 24th January. The candles are breaking S1 and previous day low. Once this level is broken, exactly at S1 and previous day low, the candles are taking resistance. So just now I said both S1 and previous day low are having same characters. Both will act as resistance. Both will act as a support. Both will act as a reversal zone. So both the characteristics are same. Now both S1 and previous day low are acting as a giants and they are not allowing the candles to go up. When the candles took resistance at S1 and previous day low, after that only strong fall started in Nifty. If S1 and previous day low was broken on the upside, then the market wouldn't have fallen on 24th. S1 and previous day low was acting as a very strong resistance and hence there was a huge fall in Nifty. So that is why previous day low and previous day high should be used along with the CPR indicator. So now you know how to keep your settings in FYERS for CPR indicator. You can even give dark colors for previous day high and low so that the level becomes clearly visible. Usually I use black color for previous day high and low. So what happens? The level becomes clearly visible in the chart. Okay. So this is the important settings which you should apply in FYERS CPR indicator so that the indicator looks beautiful. Your chart also doesn't look clumsy. Your chart looks good and the levels are clearly visible. Now, advantages of CPR indicator in FYERS. What is the main advantage of using CPR indicator in FYERS? Now, there is CPR indicator in TradingView and there is CPR indicator in FYERS. Now, what is the advantages of using in FYERS? In TradingView, you cannot apply CPR in options chart. No CPR in options chart. You cannot use CPR indicator in options chart in TradingView, but you can use in options chart. Clear? Now, the second point is you can use CPR in futures chart, but not reliable. Why I am telling it is not reliable? You can use CPR in futures chart, but it is reliable. The main difference is TradingView is a third-party software, whereas FYERS is a broker, stockbroker. So the data received by FYERS from NSE, we can trust more. Okay, it is trustable. Okay, because the futures is a specific contract. We are using CPR in trading view in spot chart, but when we use in futures, it is a contract. And in trading view, there is continuous futures, there is a contract wise futures chart is available. But when we use in FYERS, it is trustable, it is reliable. Okay, let me show you that in charts so that you will understand better. Now I'm going to my FYERS trading terminal. So this is my FYERS trading terminal. I'm opening Nifty futures chart. Okay, so there are three month contracts which is currently open. I am opening Jan futures chart. Now I can take position directly from the futures chart. If I just click on buy, I can go for a buy. Okay, if I'm clicking on sell, then I can go for a sell. So it is very simple to give buy and sell using CPR indicator directly from the futures chart. Okay, I no need to look for spot chart and I no need to take position in futures chart. That is not necessary. I can directly take buy or sell from the futures chart itself. Okay, so that is the important point. And similarly, I can take a trade in options also. For example, I'm taking 17,000 call option in Nifty 17,000 call option. Now, if I am taking a call option in Nifty options, I can apply CPR indicator in call option or put option, and I can directly take position. For example, look at 24th January. Okay. So on my left hand side, you can see 24th January, 17th call options chart. And here I am going to open Nifty chart. On right hand side, I am going to open Nifty chart, Nifty index chart. So compare 24th January spot chart and futures chart. Let me turn off the levels for better view. So this is options chart and this is spot index chart. Now on 24th January, there was a narrow CPR in Nifty. And in options also, I can see a narrow CPR. Okay. In options also, there is a narrow CPR. Exactly S1 previous day low is broken and S1 and previous day low is acting as a resistance. Here also in spot chart, S1 previous day low is broken and it is acting as a resistance. So I can go for a short in call option if I am an option seller, and I can easily place my stop loss above S1 and previous day low. So as soon as S1 previous day low is broken, I can go for a short with stop loss above S1 and previous day low, and I can easily book my target at S2, or I can trail my profits till S3 and S4. So taking trade in options chart, applying CPR indicator in options chart is very, very easy. Okay. Now, if I'm an option buyer, I wanted to buy options. So what I can do, I can open 17,800 call put option. Look at this. Let me open spot chart here. On 24th January, the index was falling, and at the same time, 24th January, the put option was rising. So that is the beauty of using FYERS CPR indicator. So this is spot chart and this is put options chart. S1 in previous day low was broken. R1 in previous day I was acting as a support. You are having a narrow CPR. And look at the options chart. There is a ascending CPR also. You are having an ascending CPR. The candles are having a narrow CPR. R1 previous day high is getting broken. And look at the price. So what I can do, I am buying a call option which is around 440 to 360. Let's say I am buying a put option between 440 to 360. Look at the price. The price has went above R4 also. Even R4, which is around 600 rupees, is broken, and the price made a high of 800 rupees. So in options chart itself, you can directly apply narrow CPR and you can take long or short position. So this cannot be done in trading view, but we can apply directly in options chart and we can take position, and directly we can go for a buy and sell from the buy and sell panel itself. So this is the major advantage of using CPR indicator in FYERS trading terminal. So that's why CPR introduced by FYERS is like a golden opportunity for traders like us, price action traders like us. We can make use of this opportunity to take trades in FYERS. So this is I have attached the examples. This is Bank Nifty futures chart, and this is Bank Nifty. Again, this is Bank Nifty futures chart when the market was bearish. So directly we can go for a buy and sell in futures chart and options chart. Just now I have shown you. Okay. So the webinar is done. I hope you all understood the main basic concepts of CPR. Remember, this webinar is organized by FYERS, especially for FYERS clients, and only the basics are covered, and the settings, how to use the CPR indicator in FYERS, and what are the advantages of using CPR indicator in FYERS. So when we use CPR indicator in FYERS, we can rely on that. We can trust the levels. We can trust the levels in CPR indicator in FYERS, and we can take trades in options and futures chart. So the major advantage of using CPR indicator in FYERS is we can apply it in futures and options chart. So when we apply in options chart, it is very easy for buyers as well as sellers. For both option buyers and sellers, it is easy to apply, and we can trust the levels. It is reliable because it is a stockbroker. FYERS are stockbroker and the levels are trustable. Okay, we no need to panic about the levels. The levels are trustable, right? So it's time for question and answers. If you are having any queries, you can ask me now. If you are having any queries related to the CPR indicators and strategies, then you can visit my YouTube channel, because in my YouTube channel, I have posted a lot of videos related to CPR indicator. You can view my YouTube channel for more CPR indicator analysis. So let me take some questions from the participants.
That was quite an amazing session, Gomathi. Got a lot to learn, and I hope everyone who attended the webinar benefited from today's invaluable session. In case you have any questions relating to CPR, you could kindly ask your questions in the Q&A drop box. Also, those who joined the session late, or those who want to watch the session again, let me remind you that this session is being recorded and it's being broadcasted live on our YouTube channel. It'll soon be uploaded on our YouTube channel as well. So if you want to watch the recording of the session, kindly visit our YouTube channel. I've just shared the link of our YouTube channel in the chat window. So you could click on that link. And in case you want to watch the recording again, you feel free to do so. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the Q&A window.
So there is an interesting question from Iqbal. So the question is, how can we see the next day CPR? So this is a very, very interesting question. Now, how to view next day CPR? Now, if you check in FYERS trading terminal under the CPR settings, as of now, you cannot watch next day CPR, next week CPR, and next month CPR. Okay, so those will be introduced by FYERS in the upcoming versions. But as of now, you cannot view next day or next week or next month CPR. As of now, it is not available. But FYERS team are working on it. Very soon, they will be introducing tomorrow CPR, next week CPR, and next month CPR. So this is a very interesting question, and everybody should note it down. How to take entry, where should be the target and stop loss. See here, this is a basic webinar. Here we are not discussed anything much about entry, exit, and stop loss. Just we have understood the importance of CPR indicator. We have understood the main differences between a pivot point and a CPR indicator. We have understood the advantages of using the CPR indicator and advantages of using CPR indicator, especially in FYERS trading terminal. So these are the things we have discussed in this webinar. There is not enough time to discuss about the entry, exit, and stop loss. So that's why if you want to know more about the entry, exit, and stop loss, and if you want to know more about CPR indicator, then you can access my YouTube channel. What is the difference between narrow CPR and wide CPR? I have already explained earlier. Whenever there is a narrow CPR, all the three levels will be overlapping each other. You can see over here, all the three levels are overlapping each other. This is called as narrow CPR. Whenever there is a narrow CPR, we can expect a trending market either on the bull side or bear side. But whenever there is a wide CPR, the market will be range bound. Okay. For example, you can check over here. So this is an example of a wide CPR. Whenever there is a wide CPR, all the three levels will be few distance apart, and the market will be range bound throughout the day. We will not get any sufficient entry and exit option. Okay, so this is the major difference between narrow CPR and wide CPR. If anybody, if you have joined late, you can just access the recordings later. What is the win rate percentage? See, this is a price action trading indicator. What is the win? What is the accuracy of CPR indicator? What is the win rate in terms of percentage of using CPR indicator? See, this is a price action trading indicator. So the accuracy will be very, very high. Even you can get more than 80% accuracy. Even you can get more than 90% accuracy. And it depends on your experience as well. If a beginner is using a CPR indicator, the accuracy will be less because there will be few mistakes done by a beginner, because most of the traders, they never analyze the overall trend. Before using CPR indicator, you should analyze the overall trend in weekly, daily, and hourly chart. And accordingly, you have to take a position in 5-minute chart. But a beginner will blindly use CPR indicator and the accuracy will be less, and he will complain that CPR indicator is not working. But as an experienced trader, what I will do is I will analyze the overall trend in weekly, daily, and hourly chart, and then I will compare with other price action patterns like Dow theory, or I will use for confirmation, I use moving averages. And then I will come to a conclusion about the overall trend. And then I will be taking position in 5-minute chart. So before using the CPR indicator, you have to analyze the trend, whether the market is bullish or bearish. and you have to check in weekly, daily charts. You have to look for any price action pattern. Is there any Dow theory patterns, or is there any triangle pattern, or is there any breakouts in the charts? You have to compare in 1 hour charts. So there is a lot of process involved. After that, I will take position in 5 minutes chart. So what happens? My accuracy is literally above 80%. So when it comes to accuracy of CPR indicator, or when it comes to the winning percentage of CPR indicator, it depends on each and every person, and it depends on your experience in trading as well. Can we automate the strategy? See, generally, I never prefer making any algo trading of any strategy, because I prefer manual trading. So whether we can automate CPR indicator or not, what I will tell is, you just read the book related to CPR indicator, Secret of Pivot Boss book, written by Frank Ochoa. You can read that book, you can backtest for a few years, and then you can create your own automation. Okay, but personally, I never prefer any automatic trading. I prefer only manual trading and manual analysis. Which CPR we should follow, whether we should follow spot or future. Okay, so this is another interesting question. Which CPR should we follow? Should I follow CPR indicator in spot chart or in futures chart? For example, let me open Nifty spot in right hand side, and let me open Nifty futures in left hand side. Okay, so this is Nifty futures chart. Let me go to 5 minutes chart, and this is Nifty spot. So which one should I follow? Should I use CPR indicator in spot chart, or should I use CPR indicator in futures chart? At present, what I am doing is, I am trading in options as of now. Earlier, I was trading in futures, but now futures require a huge margin. So as of now, I am focusing on options trading. So I look at spot chart, and based on the spot chart, I take trade in options. But if you are trading in futures chart, if I am going to trade in futures chart, then you can look at futures chart. This is futures chart. You can look at futures chart and you can directly take position. Okay. So those who are trading in futures, you no need to look at spot chart at all. You can directly look at futures chart. But those who are trading in options, it is advisable to look at spot chart. Okay. It is advisable to look at spot chart. But few traders are looking at futures chart and they are taking trade in options chart. So that depends on person to person. But personally, I look at spot chart and then I take a trade in options chart. But if you are taking trade in futures, then directly you can look at futures chart and you can take position. That's all. So this is another interesting question by one of our viewer. How to trade in white CPR? Remember, whenever there is a white CPR, please don't take any position. During white CPR, lot of traps happen, lot of fake breakouts happen. Hence, taking a trade during white CPR is not advisable. As a beginner option seller, should we go for naked option selling or hedging? If you are a beginner, you should not even go for option selling. First, you need to learn the basics of trading, learn the basics of technical analysis, everything, and then you have to proceed further and you have to select the right mentor. What about virgin CPR? See, virgin CPR is not covered in this session because of time constraint. This is a 1 hour webinar, so only the basic types of CPR is discussed. Okay, so Abhishek, we can wind up the session. Most of the questions are answered.
Yes, yes. It was a great, lovely session, Gomathi. Thank you for this invaluable session. I guess everyone benefited from this valuable session. Again, if you want to rewatch the recording of this webinar, you could do so by visiting the FYERS YouTube channel.
Yes, thank you, Abhishek, and thank you for the opportunity to the FYERS team. Thank you to Subham and Lovina. So thank you to the entire FYERS team for organizing this such a beautiful webinar and giving me the opportunity to speak with the FYERS clients. I'm happy and delighted.
Pleasure is mine, Gomathi. And again, thank you for being a part of this webinar and devoting your time, devoting your couple of hours to be a part of this webinar. It was a highly beneficial webinar, which I'm sure everyone who attended benefited from it. And looking forward to more webinars on CPR in the coming days.
Sure, Abhishek, we will.
Sure. Thank you so much, Gomathi. And with that, it's time to wind up today's webinar. And we from FYERS wish you a happy Republic Day again and wish you a happy and a successful day. Thank you all.